Directions in a mix, down 20 miles through the sticks, to the cloudy town of Hillview, population 96. Excessive vacancy, well maybe in the shadow of an eye. All the strangers passing through it, where the rules just don't apply. Cause 96 quite bitter beings like to stack the bodies high. The only way to ever leave is over flooded by the storm. And entanglement in Hellview brings you fear in 54. And not one supports the cause to leave the blood stay in the veins. Back is where we are. All we ever wanted was an answer. Civilized close and way too far. All we ever wanted was an answer.
Oh, shit. Song's over. Hello. How are you doing? Hello. Hi. It's me. I'm back. Jack. Welcome. It's been a while. And I apologize for that. Not really, because I've been a busy dude living life. Welcome to OneByOne. Yeah, the last 4-5 months of my life have been interesting. I'm one of the happiest yet most scared dudes in the world right now because our son is 5 months old now. And it's been incredible. It's definitely changed my outlook on life and a lot of shit. I appreciate sleep a lot more. And I love my girlfriend more than I ever have. Ever. She's incredible. She is my rock. She really is. No matter what, I can always count on her. And she's been the most incredible mother to our son. And I just can't thank her enough. I'm trying my best to be a good dad, but you know, that's all you can do is try, you know. But we're in love. But yeah. That was the cat at the door. Meowing. I got our office door shut. But the kitty litter box is in here. Yeah, the kitty litter box is in here. Anyway. I just can't explain how cool it's been. You know, it's been difficult a little bit here and there, but together we've gotten through it. You know, I can't thank my parents enough because they come Monday through Friday, most weeks, and watch the baby while we're at work. My day job was slowing down a little bit, so right when my girlfriend went back to her day job. Yeah, there he is again. What are you doing? What? What are you talking about? Huh? Wait, right when she went back to her day job, that's when my day job was slowing down with the work, and I decided to go from 8 to 5 to 9 to 3:30. That way I could be home in the morning until my parents get here, and then, you know, I can come home a little earlier than usual, just because I want to be here with the baby and my lady, you know. So, would you stop messing around? Here. Let me open the door. Go ahead. Go eat something. Anyway, that was Boo. When I started this podcast, that cat was like still kind of a kitten. Now he's huge. But yeah, so the day job thing kind of, I don't know. Now it's picking back up, and I'm the only one in my department, so it's kind of shitty because now we're like picking back up, and I'm working less hours, and it's not getting paid any differently. But whatever. Eventually, I'm not going to work there anymore. It's going to happen. You got to just write down your goals and just keep at it. You know what I'm saying? I don't even know what I'm saying. But thank you for like sticking around. Like, if you're still listening to the podcast, I know the whole consistency is key thing didn't really happen, but you know, it's an eventful time in my life and change, and you know, I had to take some time. I didn't stop doing all the design stuff and running Joey's page. Kept that going. Only because I have Photoshop on my phone and I can do them while taking bathroom breaks. But yeah. Anyway, it's been an eventful past 4 or 5 months, and I'm glad that I'm back, and I'm glad that you're here too. Thank you for the continued support, and thank you for listening, and you know, thanks for following the pages on Instagram and Twitter and all that shit. And you know, I have so much shit that I want to do with this podcast, with Joey, and just stick around. You're going to see some shit. So, yeah. Anyway, today, November 13th, Monday, I had the pleasure of speaking with a fella that I met through Instagram. He used to be called like Fun Junkies or something. Something to that effect. Which is pretty simple to me. You're like addicted to fun, you know. But whatever. Some people didn't get it. he's the lead backcountry guide at Hike Moab. He does a lot of hiking, and he's actually been, taking videos, and it's incredible the scenes that he's that he's captured and shit. And his Instagram page is awesome. If you like looking at the Red Rocks and Eastern Utah and shit, it's definitely for you. So you gotta definitely check out High and Mighty Hikes on Instagram, Twitter. He's on YouTube, Periscope. His name's Micah Hatcher. And I've been calling him Micah this whole time. So I'm not sure. Actually, I thought the D was like for doctor, but then I was like, hey, isn't there supposed to be an R there? So I'm pretty sure it's a first name kind of thing. But anyway, I refer to him as Micah. And we've actually been planning this podcast for the last 4 or 5 months, maybe even before that. And he was patient, and he's just an all-around good dude. Awesome story, too. This guy was like, he took a hike from Florida to fucking Colorado. Crazy. I mean, he's not crazy, but that's a crazy thing to do. I could never do it. I was telling him I couldn't even get through a 5K without my ankles fucking giving out on me. But it was a real treat. We got to talk for like over an hour. And I totally want to have this guy back on again because we connected, It's weird. It's when you meet somebody through social media and then you have a conversation with them, which most people don't get to do, really. You just meet them through social media, and that's all. You see their posts and their comments, and that, whatever. You don't really have a personal conversation, which this isn't really personal since I'm putting it out to the world, but at the time we were having it, it was. You know what I'm saying? Why do I keep saying, you know what I'm saying? I'm stuck in the 90s. But he was an awesome guy, and I can't thank him enough for taking the time to talk to little old me. So without further ado, please welcome Micah Hatcher. How's it going, man?
Good, man. Just listening to some Wheeler Walk on Junior, kind of calm me down a little bit.
Very cool, man. Sorry, I'm just getting the levels here real quick.
Okay.
I think I got you now, because at first my
Okay.
my volume on my phone, because I do this through my phone. That's why we're doing the iPhone FaceTime thing. So it's like it's not exactly the most professional way to do it, but.
Oh, hey, that's okay, man. Like I said, I'm going to try and start my own podcast here in the next 6 weeks or so. So
definitely.
It makes me feel good that I can do it with limited technology.
If you ever have any questions, I don't know anything more than what's already on YouTube. People telling you how to do it and shit, But I'd give you a quick answer. What are you going to be doing with it? You got like a MacBook or a PC?
Well, I've got all we have Mac stuff, but I've got a Mac desktop and then, of course, my iPhone, and we've got a MacBook Pro and a couple other Mac
I use
iPads and that sort of thing. So
MacBook, and I have like a little it's an audio box USB.
Okay.
What the hell is it? Like I forget what the hell it's called. You plug in your I have 2 microphone inputs, and then that sends me a USB output into my laptop, so that I could, record everything cool. And then I got this earplug right from my headphone jack on my phone right into that. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very cool, man. That's the great thing about everything that's going on in the world today. It really doesn't take a whole lot to get into it. We've been producing videos with just like 2 GoPros and our iMac
videos on YouTube a couple days ago. I was like, this is pretty cool. I saw that you made them on your phone, right? Like you didn't record them on your phone, but you put them together. Or was it iMovie?
Yeah. Some of the video well, it's all iMovie, but some of it we take with the phone, and then, just for some of the shots, because a lot of it, to get it down to the problem I'm having, anything over about 5 minutes, man, people lose interest. So I'm going out on these hikes, and I'm out there for 6 or 7 hours, and I just take different video, and then we put it in, and then I'll have a couple parts when I'm talking. So it'll be anything from the GoPro or my phone to, we got a couple other cameras and that sort of thing too. So it's just kind of a mashup of stuff, and I still feel pretty self-conscious about it, man. We're just getting cheap with it, but having fun with it. So that's all that really matters at this point. I mean, I'm not trying to go for any sort of stardom or anything like that, but, it's a lot of fun going out there doing it. And, I'm a guy from Northwest Florida, dude. I never even came, I think, as far west as I'd ever been. Oh, yeah, man. I mean, as far west as I had been before I was 37 was, I think, New Orleans, Louisiana. I spent all my life in the Southeast. So first and foremost, living out here in the Southwest and working as a hiking guide every day and stuff, and going out and doing these videos. I mean, it's a ball, man. It's something I never really even imagined for myself. It just kind of came about. So,
like, have you been living out there in Utah long, or?
Well, I've been out here about 5 years now. I came out west about 6.5 years ago, and I was in Boulder, Colorado, and was there for, I guess, about 9 months. And then I met my wife, and she's from Moab, and I came here and met her, and we got married a few months later. And, Moab, Utah is a very, very unique place in the world. It's the northern part of the Colorado Plateau. So, and just got fully immersed in it, and, but in Florida, mostly worked in restaurants. I went to school, a college dropout 3 times over. Yeah, exactly. I tried 3 different times. No, not at all. Not anymore. I mean, to make any money, everything I was going into, all my friends, I work with so many people. Went to school down in Orlando, and I worked at Planet Hollywood on Disney property. Kind of ruined me. I was bussing tables, working 35 hours a week, make about $60,000 a year, because it was the busiest restaurant in the world. But yeah, well, they did about 5,000 covers a day. Anything Disney, man. I mean, it's just money, money, money with that place. It changed pretty quick. We were at what was called Downtown Disney at the time, and it was us and a McDonald's at Pleasure Island is what it was. All the themed... Yeah. Okay, did you ever see the big globe that was the Planet Hollywood?
Or whatever? Are you talking about, right? Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's the only one. There ain't no Downtown Disney.
Oh, yeah, that's it. Yep, that's it.
Wherever the hell it is in California.
I think they just...
Buena Vista, some shit.
Yeah. There might be a Downtown Disney in Disneyland. I don't know. It's not a Downtown Disney anymore. I think they finally took that building down. But yeah, that was the one, man. Mm-hmm. But when I was going to school, everybody I worked with already had a college degree, and they're like, "Oh yeah, well I worked such and such for so long, and now I'm making $70,000 a year waiting tables." So went into that, and yeah. I don't think it's. Yeah, well, there's a whole bunch of restaurants there now. When I first started working there was no other restaurants besides McDonald's at the time. So, but even still, I mean, it's definitely, it's the end of the day. That's why you're working anyways for money. So I just saw more money that, and then went into restaurant management after a while, which can be a big trap. But I was working at more high-end resort up in Northwest Florida. I'm from Northwest Florida originally. And did that for a number of years and got in a car accident and broke my neck in 4 places. And during that time, I discovered Joe Rogan and Joey Coco Diaz, and that, exactly. It's no mistake that I wound up in Boulder, Colorado, from hearing Joey talk about it on the podcast. I mean, yeah, pretty much, man. And I was working with a friend. We started a food truck and doing Creole food, and we're doing pretty good. But after a few months of working together, he's a guy I've known since I was a really young kid. I mean, I think I met Daniel when I was 5, literally like in kindergarten or something like that. And he's a great guy, good businessman, but going into business with a good buddy doesn't always crack up. So we wound up dissolving the business and selling it. And I had some extra cash and some extra time and hiked from Panama City, Florida to Boulder, Colorado over about 5.5 months. It camped out. Oh, no, I didn't record anything back then. It was a just spur of the moment. Well, it wasn't quite spur of the moment. I guess I'd been wanting to do it since about 2002, and it just kind of popped in my head. I was sitting in the food truck on the last day we were operating, like, what am I going to do? You know, I don't want to go work in a restaurant again. I just, I want to get out and enjoy my life and see something else, and had a little bit of cash. And I thought, I was reading an article about this lady that did a transcontinental hike, and it made me remember a time that I'd met this guy, Claude Ashton Thomas. He was a Zen Buddhist monk, and his thing, he did a Tibetan form of meditation that's a walking meditation. And he walked across the United States. I don't even know how many times, but he'd walked from Poland to Vietnam, which is the span. Yeah, that's like the span of Russia. Okay. And
especially that terrain.
It's crazy stuff. And he's a great guy. And and this guy's a Buddhist monk. He starts out with his robes, his beads, and a bowl. That's what he starts everything out with. And I was kind of thinking of doing a noviceship underneath him, which is basically a monk in training. Didn't really know if I wanted to be a Buddhist monk. You know what I mean? I was pretty confident, actually. I didn't want to be a Buddhist monk, but I was just trying to look for something. So I started spending a lot of time at his monastery and meditating with him and, doing some chanting and just learning from the guy. And it was funny, after being around him for about 8 months, off and on. I mean, I didn't live there or anything like that. I was still working a job and all that. I just thought he was the most arrogant individual I'd ever met in my life. It was all about what he's done. Yeah. I mean, he's a cool guy, and he helps lots of people to this day. He ever says, I feel terrible. I don't want him to get the wrong idea, because he definitely changed my life. But, so I kind of distanced myself from him. He was just it was all about what he did. And maybe it was something that happens to people after because he does go and he helps so many people, and so many people look up to this guy. He gets money for his monastery. I go into doing these talks, and who am I to say what would happen to me if all these people were showering me with praise like they do this guy? But anyway, I was always I was sitting in that food truck, and I read this article about this lady hiking like a transcontinental hike. And I was like, well, that's pretty cool. And then I got to thinking, I could at least hike across the country. Where am I going to go? Been listening to a lot of, I think, Joey, this was 2011. So does he have his podcast going yet?
Before him and Lee.
Maybe not.
It might have not even been around. I'm not sure exactly when they started. I think it was
okay
back then, because I didn't really hear of Joey until Joe Rogan as well, but like that was 2012, 13, so yeah, I think he might have not had it yet.
Okay, yeah, that might have been after. Yeah, I know I had heard Joey on through Joe Rogan. That's what I'd heard. I've been a big fan, and I would devour a lot of these YouTube videos and stuff, and anything I could get. And I listened to. I don't really do it as much when a really good episode like that, but really all the podcasts I listen to, I'll listen to multiple times. It's a really good episode. And especially back then when as Joey called it, the movement was just getting started. But I've been listening to a lot of that, and, Boulder, Colorado sounded like a
chance.
cool place. Looked it up and was like, fuck it, man. I'm going to hike to Boulder. And did. And I planned for about probably a week. Got my supplies together, got my backpack ready, and went to a buddy's house, in Panama City there, and I'd already hiked one day, and slept on the beach and was still in the area and stuff, and I knew my buddy was in town, so I stopped by his place. I wound up partying with him for 3 days, and then it came about. I was like, all right, dude, are you actually going to do this shit? Are you going to stay in Florida and party? Because it was supposed to be I was just going to stop into the beach and have a beer and then go find a place to camp. And keep in mind that I had credit cards and money the whole time. I didn't do, I'd been inspired by Zen Buddhist monks that started out with a bowl, but I had a plan. Oh yeah, absolutely. I would I'd stay in hotels and stuff when I was in. By the end of it, I liked camping outside, so I did that most of the time. But yeah, anyway, I packed it up and stayed with him and partied for a couple days and left on can't remember the exact day, but yeah, left and hit the road. And that first day after leaving his place, I did like 12 miles, thought I was gonna die, and camped out. Got up the next day, only hiked about 8 miles, and slow going. But after about 2 or 3 weeks, man, probably more like about 6 weeks. After about 6 weeks, dude, I was 25, 30 miles a day. And by the end of it, I was in Kansas going across the plains. I was 40 plus miles a day. So got me in great shape. I'd come into little towns and stuff and go to a McDonald's, or if I'd get a hotel, download all the podcasts and stuff I could get. That was pretty much my entertainment. And just did it, man. Slept in a jungle hammock about every night. It was cool, man. It was really cool. Had some interesting times. If I had to do differently, I'd do it a lot different today. I'd go on a trail and not so much walking the highway, but that's how I did it, and the whole plan, the whole time I was going and stay in Boulder for a little while, and then get a place to stay, kind of find a place to work and stuff like that. And I was going to ride a bicycle from Boulder to San Francisco, and that was the plan, was doing. And as soon as I got there, I hiked up Boulder Creek, 5 or 6 miles, found a place to hang my hammock, made camp, super stoked, super happy, hiked back down into town. Went and had a few drinks, came back that night, and my whole freaking camp had been stolen. I had get this stuff like 1,400 miles, dude. And by that time, I had almost nothing. It was just a couple changes of clothes, a couple pairs of shoes, and my hammock. And that was pretty much a sleeping bag, and that was it, So, say la vie, that's the way it goes. That was a good introduction to Boulder, though. It's the hippie capital of the world, and it truly is that. It's all about dreadlocks and bud and good vibes, but that situation, it attracts those sort of people, and I was no different. I walked into town. That cool thing, I did a ride in Denver, Colorado in 2000 April for 420 on 2012 is whenever I got them. Yeah. So that was like super, super cool to wind up there that day. And went to a big smoke fest and that sort of thing. It's like, welcome to the West. It became, it passed the vote. It was that year, the end of the year. This is at the beginning of the year. They did vote it in as recreational. So it was still medical. But, dude, let me tell you, I actually I only had it for a little while when it was just medical, but in my opinion, it was better back then. It was, in Boulder, they probably still had 50 freaking dispensaries then, right in the area. So, and probably even more than that. Hey there.
Hey, man. Sorry about that, brother.
Oh, no problem, man. Is that sounding better?
That sounds like 50 to 100 times better. Yeah, hell yeah. I don't know what the hell happened. All of a sudden, your voice was stuck on a loop, like a hone. You'll hear it when it comes out.
From your side.
Oh, you heard it?
Yeah, I could hear it kind of. That's why I was asking you, what the hell is that?
Yeah, I couldn't even hear you asking me after it started doing it. I was like, what the hell is going on here? But yeah,
Okay, cool.
you actually sound like so much more clear. It's crazy. But
Okay, sorry about that.
it's all good, man. We were on you getting there exactly on 420. That's what I remember. We were talking about how good shit was medically.
Oh,
and all
yeah.
that.
I mean, dude, I broke my neck in 2006, and my whole neck's basically made of titanium.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nuts.
Oh, yeah, and that goes into the medical story and why I liked it so much more. So I've got 12 pins on the back side, and then I've got a brace with 4 pins in the front, 2 titanium vertebrae, that's 6 and 7. So I would go into these doctors, and the way that they did the prescription is they did it by your injury and whatever your ailment was.
Yeah.
It was written how many plants you should have and how much medicine they should give you, right? So having that kind of injury, I was able to have 50 plants growing at any one time. So I'm not going to grow 50 plants. Yeah, I mean, at the time, I was a guy basically, and we'll get back to that part of the story, basically living out of a backpack, you know what I mean? And I met a buddy and was living in his pull-behind RV and working with him every day. But I would go to these dispensaries, or I went to one dispensary, went to a whole bunch of them over a while and could buy anywhere. But once you make them your caregiver, they can grow those plants for you. So they just loved me, man.
Oh, wow.
They would, so they could have up to 50 plants growing. They could grow for so many more people that they would just throw stuff at me. Dude, like 1,000 milligram sodas and stuff like that. And you can't get that at the recreational dispensaries because it can't be more than 100 milligrams. So
that's just bullshit,
had a couple
man. I hate that whole idea. But
well,
luckily, we just elected Phil Murphy as our governor of New Jersey. Got rid of that fucking.
Oh yeah, I read that.
Chris
And
Christie.
that was. Yeah, and that was the first thing he said is that he's going to start legalizing recreational marijuana.
Yeah, within the first 100 days, he's going to do something. So I'm keeping all my fingers and toes crossed because I've been waiting for this pretty much since I started smoking when I was like 17.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
how old are you now?
36.
Okay, yeah. So it's been a long time for you, huh?
It's been quite a while. I've been like ducking and hiding behind shit, trying to grab.
Yeah.
You know,
And
it's just the worst.
Well, yeah, and I still do to this day, living in Utah. Kinda, the part of Utah I live in is literally the most remote area of the United States. You know, besides like Alaska, or Hawaii out there by itself. But I'm only 60 miles from Colorado, so
that's not bad.
That makes it a lot easier. And even in Utah, it's not a crime. It's like a civil infraction. It hasn't happened to me. I don't travel with it. You know, I might, if I do, it's like a joint or something like that. I'll have my backpack whenever I'm hiking to pull out. And it's really no big deal once it gets like that because everybody's got it. You know, it's the funny thing in Boulder was it was just everybody had weed, man. It was just not a big deal. They were so used to it. But in Florida, good God,
no, fuck.
Got busted. I mean, oh yeah,
they like their opiates down there. Fuck that weed.
Oh, dude, yeah. Not that after I had my operation, believe me, getting off the pain pills was a struggle there for a little while.
Yeah, man.
I mean, I was critically injured, needed them, but you know, the zombie that those things turn you into.
Yeah, you get addicted to them.
Literally. Oh, I mean, I literally, to even cope, I was so critically injured that, I mean, I had to have something. And then you go from they give you Dilaudid and stuff like that. I went back to the doctor and he was like, okay, well, now it's 4 Lortabs a day. And you're like, excuse me? Dude, if I was 4 Lortabs in a day now, I'd be on the frickin' moon. But back then, I would still be sick, you know, because they had me on so much before. I'd never experienced anything like that before. I didn't know that there was a medicine. I mean, don't get me wrong. When I was on it, I knew it was making me feel good. And I was like, shit, but all I was doing was laying in bed listening to freaking podcasts and music and watching TV, trying to heal up after getting injured like that.
Yeah,
So,
I know, man. My brother was in a bad car accident in 2004 and smashed his head, and his fucking pain pills are fucking fucked up, man.
Oh, yeah,
hard to get off of.
without a doubt. Dude, if a lot of people just can't even get off of them. One of the funny things with medical marijuana that I've been seeing or hearing, being right across the way by Colorado, is there's now rehabs that are being super, super successful, taking people from back east that, are from wherever they're from. People are strung up pain pills all over the freaking country at this point. They're so prevalent now. But they're going in and they'll give them like edible weed, smoking. They go through all kinds of counseling and stuff like that. But it's super, super successful.
Yeah.
They're treating opiate dependency with marijuana, and why not, man? And It's funny. It wasn't medical in Florida. It was my father. He's not really I guess he was a hippie in the 60s. My dad's just a country boy, man.
Yeah.
I'm from small town Florida. It's basically like lower Alabama. It's not Mickey Mouse or the beach. I'm from the woods. But yeah, he came to me and he's like, dude, you got to get off these things. He's like, in the next 5 years, you're going to lose your fucking mind strung out on these pain pills like this. And it's like, why don't you just smoke weed? And that's exactly what I did.
That's awesome, dude.
Oh yeah. So
it really is.
Hopefully,
it really does help. Like, I never was like addicted to pills, but I've taken some here and there. But I've always had the weed. Like, the weed has always been the main thing in my life. I've never even been a big drinker either. I do drink, but like I don't really care for it as much.
Oh man, weed makes everything better. And I even, dude, I mean, there's times that I go without weed too. I'll just put it down, and it's not any sort of like sober October. I'm not going to go that long.
Yeah, fuck that.
Unless I'm bet into it like that. But I doubt anybody in my life's going to bet me not to smoke weed. But
yeah, I was like, fuck that. I'm going to be sitting here, hopefully stoned, making posters about their fucking sober October.
Oh, exactly. Oh, dude, it was never even a thought to me. I was like, we should get some good comedy out of this. That would be good. And I'm going to smoke a bowl every time I listen to it. So. Yeah. But yeah, so that was pretty fun. But yeah, so dude, I hope medical does come through for you guys, and that's all you need, man.
No, we
that's
have medical here actually, but we only have, because of Chris Christie, we only have like 2 or 3 dispensaries throughout the state, and they really regulate, like, why they give you a prescription. Like, there's only certain things you can get it for. But
really?
Hell, get the hell out of here, Christy. Oh my God, these past 8 years have been fucking horrible. just hearing everything that he does, and just watching what he does and what he says. This new guy though, Phil Murphy, even though he's like, apparently he used to work for like Goldman Sachs or something. I don't know about all that bullshit, but
well, he's a fucking politician. First and foremost, I don't believe that there's any sort of honorable politicians, and if they are, they're a nutcase.
like Bernie. But
yeah.
But
I still think Bernie could have beat Trump, but Bernie's crazy too. I mean, everything I ever read and everything I ever heard anybody saying is like, what he's saying, you can't do that. It's like, it's not actually possible. But good God, I mean, that guy, I definitely believe that he believed he could do it, and it would have been better than the shit we're dealing with now.
Fuck yeah, man. This is a fucking horror show. Just like Rogan's tour, Strange Times. It's what we're living in.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely, without a doubt. Dude, my favorite poster you made of that is the Ice King from Game of Thrones with Rogan's smiling face. That was freaking hilarious.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I figured, fuck it. I'm on Game of Thrones nuts, and so is he. So I was like, fuck it, let's do that real quick. That was right before the season ended.
Dude,
so.
It works. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was the perfect time and perfect thing. And yeah, man, the world's just kind of gone crazy in the last since I came out west, pretty much. Well, I mean, the world's always been crazy, but November 6th, I guess, the last year, whenever that guy won.
Yeah. They were doing that End of the World podcast from the Comedy Store. I was listening to that. I was like, oh my God.
Oh yeah, I actually listened to that one live as well, and I remember hearing that REM song "End of the World as We Know It" playing.
Yeah.
And I believe I think I might have. Yeah, I was on Facebook then. I'm not on Facebook now. Shit just drives me crazy.
Yeah, I need to.
But I posted that song. And it didn't even seem real for a while. It didn't even really seem real when he first got in there until like a week. And you started hearing this crazy shit he's already starting.
I know.
The most chilling thing I think I've seen was from Saturday. You know, him going against everybody. Wasn't supposed to meet with Putin or anything like that. Going to meet with Putin. It was a picture of him with his arms kind of in the air, saying something, and Putin is eating. The dude's eating his meal at whatever summit it was they were at, and Trump's standing there like a fanboy. That is so disturbing.
Yeah, man. All this shit's coming out, dude. It's not in this day and age with all the social media and all the people that are like so good at fucking hacking shit and getting information out there. Nothing is gonna stay in, you know. It's what's happening with the friggin' sexual allegation bullshit that's going on. Not bullshit, but you know, all those assholes are getting called the fuck out now, which is awesome because it's been going on for so fucking long.
Sure.
It's like, why?
Well, it was cliche. Yeah,
yeah,
I mean,
like
it was the
everybody
Hollywood
knew.
cliche thing. Sure. I think it was Christina P., Tom Segura's wife, when she was on Rogan. She was like, it would have been so easier if I'd have had that opportunity. And the thing was, so many ladies did have that opportunity. That's exactly what it was.
Yeah.
Then the Kevin Spacey thing, I think I heard. I don't really watch the news. I haven't had cable in many, many years. I didn't own a TV for almost 12 years. My wife got me one for Christmas last year. Damn. And it's great for watching movies and stuff, but I'm not going to get cable, which you don't even need cable, smart TVs and that sort of thing. I mean, we've got HBO for Game of Thrones and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But what I'm trying to say is I'm very, very disconnected. Like I won't watch Fox News, won't watch any sort of news programs whatsoever. But I think I heard through Reddit that Kevin Spacey had come out. Something just very briefly. I'm like, oh, yeah, surprise.
Oh,
that was like Rosie
did you hear
O'Donnell
the rest
coming
of
out.
it,
Yeah,
though?
surprise. Well,
did you hear? You heard how he came out?
No, well, 5 minutes later I did.
Yeah.
Like, the first thing I saw was Kevin Spacey's out. It's like, okay, that's not even an issue. Yeah, surprise. Just like Rosie O'Donnell, not an issue.
Yeah.
Oh, Rosie's gay? Really?
Duh.
But, yeah, then you hear what he did, and it's like, God, what a
And then
scumbag.
he came out in the not even an apology, whatever the fuck that was. Oh, I'm sorry. I must have been drunk.
Didn't deny it. Must have been drunk. Oh, it was a 14-year-old kid. Jesus Christ.
And it's
just crazy. And Louis.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Louis, what the fuck?
Louis broke my heart, man. Exactly. Well, it's funny I'm going to say this, but I was talking about it with my wife. And it's like, they were probably partying, doing a little bit of blow, something like that. He's getting a little bit loose. They're having a good time. She's laughing at everything he says. And he's like, hey, what's going on? Hey, you mind if I pull my dick out and jerk it off for you one time? I'm not judging. I think it's terrible if they didn't want to see it, but I can't tell you I hadn't jerked off for girls before. I mean, none are going to call you. It was completely consensual. I always make sure they were naked first.
You got them to sign the paperwork first.
Nah, nobody's coming after me, dude. They're not going to get after the great. I've got plenty of camera equipment now and a couple of drones, but that's the extent of my truck's a 2004. So, yeah.
Yeah,
They're
that's
not
just
coming
crazy. And then
for me.
he comes out and says, oh, yeah, it's all true. Like,
yeah, that's terrible. And we're not going to see. Do you think he's going to be able to recover from that?
oh, fuck no. They already, they're not putting his movie out. Canceled the fucking Colbert. I'm pretty sure that they took his specials and everything off of Netflix. You can't even go watch them now. And they're not doing the next one with him either.
Yeah.
So it's like, even if you're coked up, whatever, it happens once, you fucked up. Why would you let that happen again?
Oh, yeah.
Why would you let that happen four more times?
Yeah, and I was saying that joking, and I did read part of the apology. Broke my heart, so I didn't read the whole thing when he was talking about having the power over them. And I was joking about it before. If he did those things and he just had some helpless woman, hey, do you want to see my dick?
Yeah, that's
what I mean? And it's all in context. But, I mean, shit, Joey Coco Diaz or something. I mean, that dude gives it all away.
Yeah, I know. And that's the whole thing about him.
Crazy shit.
He's talked about it. Like, for instance, the Denver Comedy Works. He was banned from there a while ago for some girl said that he like grabbed her ass when he was like walking out, but he actually told everybody on the podcast that it was like she was falling or something and he went to help her. I forget what it was, but it got back to the owner. She banned him, and then he's back, as of a couple years ago. Like, it's not like... I'm sure... I don't know if anybody's got shit on him, but don't you think that, like, some of this shit, like, especially the politician... Now it's getting into the politicians, too, and... It's almost like... I don't know. I don't want to say that these people are lying, but, like, I feel like some of them are, maybe, just to get in the spotlight for a little bit.
Oh, yeah. Well, everybody wants that 15 minutes of fame if they're being talked about. And, I'm going to say this before we go on, because I respect Joey Diaz so much, and hearing his story, like, affected my story, such a powerful guy. I believe that dude, he might be a savage, like he says, but I believe Joey's a gentleman when it comes to something like that. And, I mean, why would he do anything like that? So I'm not thinking anything like that's going to come out about him at all.
No.
But,
if it does, he'll tell you about it. He's probably already told us about it. That's
exactly.
I forget what podcast it was. It might have been the very last one, but he was talking about the Harvey Weinstein bullshit. And, he's like, that's why I put everything out there on the podcast, so there's no questions.
Oh, sure, exactly. And I mean, do you think the chick that was in Boulder when they were eating roofs together, he's like, yeah, we'd eat a couple of roofies, let me just eat her ass. He got up with her more than once. She wanted him to be eating that ass. So, right. I think there's absolutely going to be some people lying. My wife said that somebody is denying something that I've been sending her, these little memes that I read, and it was something about Drew Tunes off of Instagram fame. Do you know who I'm talking about? He does the little emo
No.
cartoons. Well, he had this it's a paper that he's got this little emo cat is his thing. He's like a professional surfer or something like that in Hawaii.
Okay.
And it's kind of rudimentary drawings, but they're fucking hilarious. But you should look him up for sure. But he had one that was like a paper cover, and it was Air Bud 1997 was humping legs on set. It was like, it's really getting that far. That one
I saw was fucking... Somebody came out and said Tom Hanks is still a nice guy.
Oh, I saw that one yesterday. Dude, I cringed when I first read it.
I know, no, not Tom.
Yeah, you don't even realize how much of a Tom Hanks fan you are until I saw that. It's like, oh my God, like that guy, he's just Mr. Squeaky Clean. He's freaking Forrest Gump.
Yeah. He was actually, I
just
got done watching.
He's a scumbag.
I just got done watching John Oliver. Did you ever watch that show, Last Week Tonight?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
He did. It was like the end of the season show that came out yesterday, and Tom Hanks was like in the end skit with all the wax presidents that they always talk about. Mm-hmm. It's ridiculous. I love Tom Hanks.
Oh yeah, he's
great. He can't do no wrong. He can't do no wrong except for those fucking what were those movies? The Da Vinci Codes. What the fuck?
Oh yeah. I saw the first one.
It was a good attempt, but I was like, what? What are you doing?
Yeah, at that time, whenever the books came out, I used to travel quite a lot, and I would listen to the audio, and I like all that Illuminati shit, and all that conspiracy stuff. Oh yeah, listening to it, but it was just such, I was driving 5 hours and I could put it on, and you know how listening to a book is. And then I saw that movie. I haven't seen any of the follow-ups or read any other books, but. Whatever. Forrest Gump's good. I really don't want to hear anything coming out of that guy. But yeah, absolutely, some of these people are lying. It's kind of funny where it's all going to wind up, man. It's just every day.
Every day is something else, man. I get my news mostly these days. Like I try not to watch the local news because it's just like everything's fucking negative. They don't spotlight the good shit going on like anywhere really. But I get most of my news from from Twitter, like the Twitter news section, like the highlights, because that's like everybody, liking and commenting and posting on shit that's going on, and it's just like the cream rises to the top.
Yeah, I get most of mine from Reddit and Twitter. Twitter's a funny beast now, man, with all this bot stuff coming out.
Oh yeah.
Just today, like most of the people I follow on Twitter, it's like hikers and extreme sports athletes and other people that are into outdoors and like outdoor photographers, and of course the Death Squad and Joey and all those cats. So it's a real closed world. But there was this one guy followed me, and I looked at his page real quick, and he had a couple thousand, not like a whole lot or anything like that. And clicked on, this got pretty cool place. This didn't go through his feed too far. Not probably 30, 45 minutes after clicking to follow that guy, I got some kind of junk mail that I've been suckered into before from other things, that they want you to go to a site and they're trying to get you to buy different shit. It's like, dude, is all of Twitter bots now? I mean, how much of that shit's even real anymore?
It's crazy, man. Like I put out, Twitter was the last, besides Snapchat. I have a Snapchat, but I don't really use it that much because I don't know. I don't really care for it, but
I have one and haven't used it once.
Yeah. I had Twitter for a couple years, and I finally started using it like 2013 or something, like kind of regularly. And after I, started listening to Rogan and shit, I actually was listening, when I started listening to podcasts, I was listening to Alex Jones first. I don't know why or how the hell I got
still there?
Yeah, you hear me?
Hello?
Can you hear me?
You there?
I'm here.
I can now. You cut out there for a minute. I was hearing you listen to Alex Jones was the podcast.
Yeah. I don't know why. Somehow I ended up on his podcast when I first downloaded, the Apple Podcast app or whatever. And that's how I heard. Yeah. That's where I heard Joe Rogan and Joey on there. That one time that they both were on there.
Okay.
Have you ever seen that clip?
Oh, really? Oh, of course, man. Yeah, that was great. I'd been listening to those guys. I think I jumped on board when they were still doing the podcast at Rogan's house. I'd been in that accident. Yeah, I'd been in that accident and was laid up at home recuperating in my mom's house, and I heard the YouTube DMT thing. And let me tell you, that's a story after the rabbit hole that sent me down. But I heard that, and I just started devouring anything Joe Rogan. I mean, I loved news radio back in the day. I'm 43, so I guess news radio was out when I was like 21, 22.
Okay.
And it was a late night thing I was seeing. I thought he was pretty cool from that, but I'd be honest, I didn't really watch TV back then. Fear Factor meant nothing to me. I'd heard about him eating like donkey penis and shit. It's like, okay, well, I don't need to see that. Yeah. So, I wasn't a fan of his through that. But, I think I've been there since almost the beginning. When he did the 1000th show, I thought about how many hours of my life I've donated to this guy's conversations, and it kind of made my head spin.
Yeah, right, dude? Oh, my God. It's crazy.
That's cool.
I went from listening to music all the time, and now I'm listening to people talk most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes you got to give yourself a break from the podcast and get back into some old shit that you like, or try to find new shit. It's kind of easy to find new shit these days, but it's still kind of hard because not all of it's good to me anyway. What kind of music you get down with?
A lot of what I listened to the last few years, like everybody else, I'll tell you, I like everything. I don't like everything, of course, but really a lot of country and bluegrass is where I've been the last little while. I mean, I was in the college days, in my early 20s. I mean, I was a breakbeat acid jazz DJ, so I've run the gambit of music. Oh, yeah.
That's a spectrum
that was a long
right there.
time ago, my friend. Yeah, exactly. But I guess probably right around when I was 29 or so. So 14, 15 years ago, because I grew up, living a country song. Like I grew up in the woods. We lived on a big piece of land. Our closest neighbor was a little over a mile away, within like a mile away or so. And it was just scattered until you got to town about 15 miles away. That's where the people started again. There would be scattered people. So I grew up in a country song, and my grandfather was always listening to Hank Williams and telling us nothing. But I grew up, right when hip hop was getting big. So I was all into that stuff. I wanted to be from anywhere but Jackson County, Florida. So, and I came back into it. I had some friends that were playing in a bluegrass band, and just started getting in. But even still, being from the Gulf Coast, I love a lot of Trombone Shorty and New Orleans music and a lot of jazz sort of thing too. And even, and this is really strange, I've been getting back into metal again since a lot of Mastadon's what I've been listening to.
Oh, badass, man. Recently
as far as metal. Oh, yeah, dude, they're badass. Like, the Pantera days and Sepultura and Slayer were a little bit too hard for me. Kind of gotten into Slayer a little bit more and appreciate a little bit more now, just a few songs, but all my friends were going crazy listening to that shit in the day. Yeah. Pantera was kind of where it was at, and Anthrax and all those guys, and some thrash and that sort of thing. But, back in before the electronic music came in, I was real big in the punk and early hip hop and that sort of thing, about gangster rap and Tupac and Biggie. That's when I checked out of hip hop. I'm like, okay, that shit's just getting stupid. It's all about robbing people and that sort of thing. So, and I do appreciate hip hop as well, but
yeah, my shit was always like Alice in Chains and Nirvana, like.
Oh, yeah, dude. Like, that goes without saying. That was, after Kurt killed himself, kind of. I mean, I still listen to it, but Pearl Jam and all that stuff.
Yeah, dude. Music has always been, like, the root of what I wanted to do, but it kind of, like, led into other shit. The music didn't work out.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes you just got to, like. It
hasn't worked out yet, man. You're still playing, right?
Yeah, I'm still playing and recording a little here and there, but it's like, especially with a baby, it's like really hard to even find, obviously. So we've been planning this for like 4 or 5 months now.
Yeah, it's been going a while, man, that's for sure. Oh, man, and how's that going for you? How old's your son now?
He's 5 months. He's 5.5 months now, dude. It's nuts, man. Do you have any kids?
He's just
you don't have no kids, right?
Oh, yeah. I've got a daughter that'll be 20 here in a few days. Yep, sure enough,
cool,
man.
So you know what the fuck I'm going through right now.
That I do. And, from where you're at, I miss what you're going through. It's been so long for me. My daughter's college age, out of high school, knows absolutely everything. And let me tell you, I am so glad I grew up in the late 80s and early 90s when I was age, because these kids today really got it stacked against them, man. I mean, it's just such a crazy time to be alive. Shit, I have a hard time adjusting to it in my early 40s, much less where these kids are at 20. And don't get me wrong, like my daughter's, she's very, very stable and got a really good head on her shoulders. But yeah, just can't imagine what that's in for your son, man.
I know, growing up in the digital age.
It's going to be nuts.
Social media bullshit and...
Yep,
I don't
he's
know,
probably going to be his age. The thing with them is probably going to be the literal like neural hookup where you're hooking your brain up to the computer, and how far are you going to take it? The iPhone 72 or whatever it's going to be, or they'll probably only be in about the 20s by then when they start doing the neural link where, and we pay for the update. You've already had it implanted in your head.
The iPhone is going to be like an actual eyeball that's implanted into your head. They just take one eye
out. Or maybe
out.
In the center of your head. Maybe they'll put it in the center of your head. It's the new third eye.
Dude, it's crazy, man. That's like, I think it's going towards the way, like, how Rogan says that we're going to be like, there's going to be no lies anymore. Everything's going to be out in the open. And it's kind of getting to that point. A little tiny bit.
Sure.
You can see it, man. You can see it with all this shit's coming out. Nobody can hide shit anymore. And it's kind of scary,
And
but
see,
it's good because I don't want people hiding fucked up shit, you know?
Oh, no. And see, maybe it's not scary. I mean, I don't know you very well or what you got in your closet. You seem like a cool guy and stuff. I'm a guy that's pretty always been like, take it or leave it. This is what you get. I've never been somebody full of shit. There's not going to be anyone come forward that's going to say I've done any sexual shit to them, because it's just never happened. I've never had any sort of power like that at all. I mean, I've been a restaurant manager. I think at the peak I had close to 200 employees, and I didn't date any of those chicks. You know, it might have been a couple of hookup nights or something like that, but from that perspective. So yeah, I don't have any of those demons, and I've never had the power that corrupts to do any of that stuff. So I'm fine. Let it all come out.
Yeah, man. Same here.
Where I stand. I mean, I'm completely upfront and open, and always have been. I mean, I probably said some shit trying to get laid a few times, but you know, my daughter was born when I was 23, and that got me where you're at now, dude. I mean, you know what it's like when you got a kid. Yeah. There ain't nothing else going on. What are you doing on Friday night? Well, I'm going to be changing diapers, and hopefully the baby sleeps through the night.
Yeah, I'm gonna about 8 o'clock. We're gonna be feeding them the last bottle, and then we're gonna put on the pajamas, and then that's about it. That's my night.
Yep.
It was cool. It was actually the first time this past Saturday we went up to see Joey, and it was the first time we were that far away from the baby, because we live in like South Jersey. We're like close to Philly, and we went up to New York City, so it was like. Felt like 2 hours away, you know. We're like, fuck.
And your girlfriend was there with you too?
Yeah.
That was the furthest she'd been away from the baby. So your job was pretty much keeping her calm. Well, I hope she got to relax and have a good time.
Yeah. Well, she definitely did.
Oh yeah.
We actually fucking missed the train. We went up to this train station. We were gonna take the train from Hamilton to New York City, and we got there. We're buying the tickets, and the train leaves, and we're like, fuck. So we had to wait a half hour before the next one. We got there late. I was like, damn it. Because we were supposed to go to the early show. And we got there in the middle of it. I'm like, fuck, man.
Yeah.
So I called Joe, and he's like, oh, just come up, dog. We'll fucking get you into the late show. I'm like, all right. I already bought the tickets anyway, so I'm fucking taking the train up there just to even say hi. So that'd be awesome.
Yeah, it sucks you missed the first part. I saw Joey perform live. I wrote Joey whenever I had first landed in Moab, and I had this idea to do kind of a comedy festival in the area. And it was at a time, you know, right before where he is now, like he is blown up. This was about close to 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And, you know, he was like, oh, I'll do it for such and such amount of money. And it was pretty reasonable. And I told him how much it meant, hearing his story, how much it meant to me, and how I'd done things I'd done. And I was very inspired. And I probably wouldn't have ever left Florida if it hadn't been for him and his story. And wound up going and seeing him. And Maddie's like, come say hi, dog. Just make sure I know who you are. And went and hung out with him in between the shows.
Yeah.
And, dude, the amount of THC that man put in his body between show 1 and show 2 was just crazy, man. And I mean,
he handled
and that was before the Stars of Death and stuff. And it was all about the fans then. I mean, I had weed. Another guy had weed. This dude gave him a pipe. There was a guy with wax. I mean, I was packing bowls and busted my knife out and putting wax on top of the bowls. This is, you know, like the 30, 45-minute break the guy had or something.
Yeah.
So...
yeah, that's pretty much like we got there, and Dean Delray was standing like outside the doors of the room. And I walked up to him. I'm like, "Yo, Dean, it's Mike, OneByOne, man." He's like, "Oh shit," because I never met him before, so that was cool. And then Joey got done. Dean went out there and like said goodbye to everybody and brought us back down to the green room, and it was cool, man. It was
very cool.
Smoke a joint with the man himself, and then fucking gave me a star too. You know what I'm saying?
Very cool.
So if you saw that picture that Bruce Leo posted,
I did. Yeah.
Some dude was like, "You look that." Somebody said that guy looks high as fuck or something. Like,
that guy was high.
I was.
You are right, sir.
You are correct.
Yeah, Dean Del Rey is a cool character too, man. I've been following him on Instagram for a while, and I've listened to his podcast several times, but I just heard him on, I think it was Duncan's, podcast and got to hear his story for the first time.
Yeah.
Man, he's a cool guy.
Yeah,
and,
he's awesome.
You know, I love that Hell Ride. Isn't it Hell Ride? Is the name of the movie, the biker movie?
Oh, that he was in?
Tarantino produced? Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, man, whenever that guy that was, what was it they were saying? What's his face has always been the 3 Bs: bikes, babes, and beer, some bullshit like that. And he's like, bikers, babes, and big bucks, man. And then he gets shot in the head. That guy's pretty fucking funny, man. I never saw him in anything else, but it was Dean Del Rey, just sans 80 pounds or something.
Yeah. He fucking quit the sugar and lost it all, man. It's nuts.
Yeah. Shit, that's a tough. Oh yeah, he's like in his 50s now, right?
I think he just turned 50 or something close to that.
Something like that.
But
yeah.
he was like, I was like, dude, how did it go? Because you know, I actually got a phone call from this other comedian, Mike Marino from Jersey,
Mm-hmm.
and he was like, "Oh, I just played a show with Dean last week. Tell him when you see him, you know, that I told him he looks fucking fabulous or incredible or something." Because he must have been like going off on him, like, "Damn, dude, you look so good. I haven't seen."
Oh yeah,
And
he's definitely done it.
Dean was like, "Yeah, man, quitting sugar was just about as hard as starting stand up at 44."
That makes sense, man.
Yeah,
that makes
dude.
sense. Well, good for him, man. And I think it was I'm pretty sure it was Duncan, but him just saying that he talked about the sugar thing and stuff like that, and how he'd been on it for so long that he thought it was going to wake him up, but it wasn't that at all. Like it scrambled his mind and, you know, kind of did something funny to him. I believe he said that he probably got past it, but it was a real tough thing I can't even imagine quitting sugar. I mean, I'm not like super sweet tooth guy, but the wife and I definitely bake cookies around the house, that sort of thing.
It's the
and,
carbs too, man. Like the
Oh, sure.
dough. Like I fucking love dough of any kind, you know.
Yeah, but
Bread
I mean,
and butter.
Yeah, I'll be 44 next year, and I can see it, dude. I mean, I literally averaged I got a couple weeks ago, and it embarrassed the hell out of me. I only hiked 40 miles.
Oh, only.
Dude, only. Yeah, I average about between 75 and 80 miles a week
Damn.
hiking, and that's every week, all the time, whether I'm taking clients out or I'm going on my own. It's just the life I live, and I've been living that life daily for 3.5 years now, as far as, you know, the daily hiking guiding and stuff. And in the Moab area, you know, when I was doing the hike, it was a little bit different. That was 5.5 months. And then I got to Boulder and started climbing. And that's one of the part of the story I forgot to tell you. I started doing some climbing and immediately tore my meniscus. So I was out riding the bicycle from Boulder to San Francisco. But hey, it was a good story. I met and came to Moab, and Moab's sort of canyon country is one of those things it was a good turn, you know. It wasn't the way I thought it was going to go. But anyway, back to the topic at hand. And even still, hiking all that, dude, the stuff I eat, if I don't watch the stuff I eat on almost a daily basis, I feel that 4 slices of pizza will have it now. And I had pizza today. I'm doing a big solo hike tomorrow, so I kind of hung around the house and just went and did a little thing with the dogs. And I don't know if you've seen my Instagram, I live right underneath Castleton Tower. It's a really famous tower, like Castle Rock's. The movie studio Castle Rock, it used to be their...
oh, no shit.
You ever see John Bon Jovi's Blaze of Glory video?
Yeah, back in the day.
That way he filmed that on top of Castleton Tower. That's like my view to the east. It's like a mile away. That's where I live.
That's
is
so
right
awesome.
beside that. Yeah, great. But I get out every day and hike and stuff, and I watch what I eat. And I still eat carbs, and I'm not on any sort of diet. Like, I definitely get enough exercise that I don't have to care. I don't get fat. That doesn't happen. But just the way it makes you feel.
Yes, you feel like
It's
sluggish and
powerful.
tired and shit, right?
Oh, yeah, and just lethargic and kind of, I could stay here a little bit longer. If you're not careful, like I've luckily gotten myself into a lifestyle that if I sit in the house and don't hike for 3 days. The wife's kicking my ass out of the house. She's like, you're being an asshole. Get the hell out of here. So, and I do. I just get miserable if I'm not active. And, you know, when you live someplace like Moab, when you've got people saved for years and years and years to come here once, it's the home of Arches and Canyonlands. And I feel like such an asshole if I get out. Enjoy it every day. Yeah. So, and you know, like after the hike I do tomorrow, I'll probably chill the next day, but by the day after that, I'll be right on it, getting back into it. So,
where'd you get the High and Mighty Hikes name from?
It was, you know, you always hear you're all high and mighty, especially living in the Southeast. It was a term that people used to kick around about how a person feels about themselves. They're feeling all high and mighty. It's more like a Christian type guy. And I think it describes my hikes quite a lot. Like, you know, they're definitely, you get up there high and you know, I'll be honest, I put the high in there, kind of the stoner thing as well.
That's what
like
I was thinking.
Oh yeah. Yeah. The high's there for that. But I got it from that thing of kind of uppity people is what you would say about them. When really, for me, I'm the furthest thing from an uppity person you're ever going to find. I mean, I don't have any sort of stuck-up thing. I happen to be born in a family with pretty affluent people on the one side, but I happen to be born to the hippies. You know what I mean? So we lived in a trailer out of wood. My cousins would come around with all the neat stuff, and that just wasn't me. So, you know, I had all these people that thought they were and they were, you know, they already had more money than you, so they had to be better Christian than you were, whatever. Yeah. So that's where that name came from. But it's definitely a nod to being a stoner. And, you know, the Mighty, I think, just sounded cool and it went together.
Hell yeah. That's a good name.
Oh, sure. I like it. I had been Fun Junkies. And Fun Junkie,
I do remember when we first started following each other. Were you
yeah, we first started talking. I changed it. Well, that came from my buddy that I met as soon as I showed up in Boulder. Like I told you, my camp got ripped off. Yeah. I had money still, but I'd stayed whenever I got there. I got a hotel room for several days because it was, I just got in. I just completed a huge, like 1,200 mile hike. Super stoked. I wanted to party in Denver and go and do all the, you know, with the smoke out and that sort of thing. So I stayed there for a little while. My money was starting to linger and I knew I had to get a job. It's like, okay, no problem. Been camping for a while and I can't get a job. Thing gets ripped off. I'm like, holy shit, well, I need to start making money like now. Didn't have time to go put in applications. Went to the day labor place, looked it on my phone, went there the next day, got hired by a guy that never hired day laborers. As an arborist, he needed help, like his regular help didn't show up or he had fired the guy or something. And went and met this guy. He's one of my best friends today. Met him, awesome. Found out what I was doing, thought what I was doing was cool. Hey, got a camper, dude. You can stay in my camper. Be great. You want a job? Hell yeah, I want a job. I can climb big-ass trees every day and use the chainsaw. You know, as a guy that's been working in hospital. Oh, it was super cool. Super
I
cool.
couldn't do that. I'm afraid of heights like that.
Oh, really? See, that's something about me, dude. I've never had a fear of heights. If you, like some of the stuff I do on these hikes and that sort of thing, it's losing something. Like I've got a cheap 3D camera. I'm saving up for the GoPro 3D camera so it can show some of this stuff. Yeah. Heights and that sort of thing just doesn't bother me at all. Don't get me wrong. Like I had a friend get me in a place a couple of weeks ago that I had to conquer the fear. Like if you don't get it together, you're going to get hurt. Like you can't lock up. Yeah, you got to keep going. I rub elbows. Like this guy had been on the U.S. climbing team. He's been climbing since he was a teenager. He's like almost 50. So just nothing gets this guy. But yeah, this guy, Bert, you can climb a tree every day and use a chainsaw and hang out with me. But he was, I'm from the Southeast. I'm a redneck. Backwoods, South gonna rise again, people just country. He is from New Hampshire, got the, always wicked smart. Boston saw just Yankee boy, man, just Yankee. Great dude, man. We became the best of friends. Still good friends today. But
awesome.
he was always saying, "Fun junkie, we're gonna go do some fun junking," and I just thought it was fucking hilarious, dude. So yeah, the fun junkie works. But when I was telling some of the people I was taking on guided hikes, go check out my YouTube channel, my Instagram, trying to get those followers. Fun junkie, exactly what do you mean with that? I'm like, well, it's kind of hard to call a junkie anything else. Like, I know what a junkie is.
Yeah.
That I'm just the guy going out having fun. And got tired of trying to repeat it. And then, I don't have a lot of followers by any means and don't know if I ever will. But as going along and, we've got some other things being kicked around. We're trying to do some other marketing and work it that way. I just thought High and Mighty would sound a little bit. So, yeah, I'm not going to get hired by a little old lady by the fun junkie. We hired the fun junkie to take us on a hike.
Unless it was that little old lady that got that hot sauce commercial. I put that shit on everything. Did you ever hear that?
No.
There's this, I forget, I think it's like Frank's or something red hot sauce. And then the
yeah,
commercial
you're
was.
talking to a guy that, I don't watch television.
Yeah. This was a while ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's all I've really watched now is like Netflix and like on-demand shit,
Yeah, we got Netflix, Amazon, and then we've got, I think we've got HBO and Showtime and a couple other things, because you buy that through Amazon now.
Yeah.
And watch that. I wasn't going to do that, but Game of Thrones came out, and I didn't have a way to watch it, and I'm going to watch some Game of Thrones.
Fuck yes. I want to get Showtime back because my show came back on, Shameless. You ever watch that?
Yeah, I saw the one last week. We got that. That was pretty good. It's man, that show is just. I feel like a terrible person laughing at some of that shit. Some of them awful shit I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's definitely different, but it falls into that whole comedy thing. It's fucking comedy, Like,
yeah. Oh no, man. I think it's hilarious, and I'm not like sticking my nose. I'm not getting.
Oh no, I know.
Mighty about it. But oh yeah. But I think about the whole show. They do terrible shit, and at the end of the day, they all got good hearts and stuff. Except for Frank, he's a total fucking piece of shit.
Yeah,
dude.
You think he's gonna turn around, but nope.
Oh no, never. The episode when the chick that had bad heart. He was trying to get her her pension or something.
Oh, yes.
And they called because she was getting the heart transplant, and he fucked her to death and then didn't even get the money. That was the most horrible thing I've ever seen in television. I mean, I laughed, and I felt like the worst person laughing. But God damn, dude, that's cold.
Yeah.
I don't know if it affected anybody else the way it affected me, but I just think that was the most heinous thing I ever saw in my life. And the fact that it was funny and I laughed at it too was like, Jesus Christ, man, those writers, which I think it's William H. Macy is the guy that's actually he's the director now, right? He's directing all the episodes. I think so.
Oh, shit.
I think it's a couple of seasons ago.
He's cool. I hope he doesn't turn out to be like a Kevin Spacey. The last name sounds pretty close, though.
Yeah. And the thing about William H. Macy, I always thought he was the nerd guy, like the nerd guy from Fargo.
Yeah.
I think maybe when he popped on that's when he popped on my radar. I don't really remember him doing anything before that. Which, being from the Southeast, Fargo was one of the hardest movies I've ever had. Like, I had to take breaks from the accent in Fargo, which they were doing a great job, but I don't think I'd ever heard a deep inland Minnesota accent before when it came out. And I know it's, I was acting and they were doing all, but yeah, I had to take breaks from that. But, and then you see him shameless, and it's like, dude, I just thought he was this, just Boy Scout, that
he was just acting like a nerd good.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's a great actor, and everybody's got a life. I mean, you hear about anybody, Southern men like this Roy Moore guy.
Yeah.
Dude, I've got Southern politician, like, you know, nothing big, but local politicians I'm related to, they're all a bunch of shitheads, man. I mean, all of them, dude. I think everybody's got a kink. You know, it's just how far your kink's out there, and the darker and the, you know, the more withdrawn you are. If you're supposed to be this really big, you know, politician, whatever they're supposed to be to us, these just bastions of moral fortitude and all that stuff, it's going to be worse. But yeah, this Roy Moore guy, he's just such a shithead, dude. When it's coming out, what they're saying, the people from the town, what they're actually saying about this guy, that he was, I was reading a thing right before you called about, he was banned from the mall in the town because he was like cruising the mall and the waitresses and stuff like that. These teenage girls. God. Oh yeah. So hopefully William H. Macy's actually just a really good nerd, and we're not going to find out. He's not going to go away. I don't know if I'm going to be able to deal with no Louis, man. I haven't checked to see if they...
My good friend that I used to share an office with was like, Louis was his comedian. I haven't even talked to him yet about it, but I was about to shoot him a text like, hey, what you think about Louis and his dick?
Yeah, and you got to take stuff like that with a grain of salt. I mean, I figure Louis had done something, but I'm sorry that it came out he was a scumbag. I don't want to know my people are scumbag. I think Joey's fucking, and like you said, he lives it all out loud. He's already told us all his secrets.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And you can tell, like, he had a fucked up upbringing, you know?
Sure, man.
And I can't really, I mean... It's hard to blame somebody for stupid shit, but, you know, everybody has probably done fucked up shit here and there.
Oh, we've all done fucked up shit, for sure. It's that difference that these people, once they came into power, you know, Joey, the power he has and the following he has, well, he's staying at home with his wife and his daughter. You know what I mean? Or going out to these shows. I'm partying for Joey's probably going out to Rogan's podcast and eating 10 stars or something like that.
Yeah.
So he's already got all his shit out of the way, you know, coming up with it. And I can't imagine who we're going to lose next. I don't really care about Kevin Spacey. I was trying to watch House of Cards, and I did think it was good, but I started watching it right after Trump got elected.
Oh, really?
And fuck, all you hear is politics all day. So I just couldn't have entertainment. Yeah. And I generally, I sit and I'll sit down and watch a series and everything it's got, unless it's current in, you know, a few days or a week or however long it takes me. But I couldn't deal with the politics in that, because all we hear is fucking politics these days, and I just got to take a break from that shit.
Yeah, I hear you, man. It's hard to fucking just keep on listening to all this bullshit, and you can't really do much about it, you know.
Can't do nothing about it.
I voted for Phil Murphy, and motherfucker won. Not saying that my vote is what did it, but you know, the fact that actual votes count when it comes to electing a governor, as opposed to when you're electing a president, and it really doesn't. Like the whole electoral college thing is just always blown my mind. You know,
I was one of those people that I went out and voted for the president. I did not vote for Trump. But I thought she had it in the bag. I really did.
Well,
I didn't think it was
the vote part, you know, the actual votes.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Themselves.
Well, the electoral college, I didn't think he had any chance with that either. Though.
Oh, I know.
And fuck, here we are. I heard somebody on that End of the World podcast that they were saying, and I've repeated it several times. I don't think it was anybody, you know, any of the big names that were there, but they were asking the guy how he felt. He's like, fuck, I got to rewrite all my conspiracy theories. I didn't know that this was even possible. I thought it was just, that the decisions had already been made, but it goes to show you maybe voting does make a difference, you know? And I do view voting as a responsibility. I'm not one of those people that doesn't vote. That's always driven me crazy. And especially after Trump, I would talk to people and they're just, oh my God, how could they elect him? And I'm like, well, didn't you vote? Oh, well, no, I didn't vote. I haven't voted in years. Well, fuck you then.
Yeah.
So
you could at least go there and vote for the other person that you wouldn't have, you know, the lesser of two evils, or you could write somebody in, you know, at least you did something. I actually
Exactly.
I didn't start voting. The first time I voted was when it was John Curry was going against Obama, I think. I don't know. Maybe no, it was Curry against Bush, wasn't it? I forget now.
I don't remember. Dude, I don't keep up with politics that much. We're all being inundated with it now. I do vote whenever it comes around. Like I said, I feel it's a responsibility to vote. And I'm not going to knock anybody. I mean, for the most part, it is a rigged game. You know, if somebody's not going to vote, that's their prerogative. I don't really get into it. But, you know, like I said, as far as the conspiracy of it, I think Trump proved to all of us that maybe it's more possible than we really thought was anyway.
Yeah. Well, in 2020, I'm voting for The Rock and Oprah.
Man, I want Rogan to run, man. I think he could do it, dude.
I think he could too, but I don't think he would want to.
No, and I think, and I've heard it on his show, the first prerequisite for running for president should be you don't want to do it. And that's how politics really were. The founding fathers and stuff, they were all farmers and, well, slave owners. Wow. They had plantations they were running. You know what I mean? And but it was a duty. That any sort of service was duty. They never imagined somebody like Mitch McConnell that's going to be in there for 35 fucking years. Or like your entire family would fall apart. You can't stay in Washington 35 years. Nobody would possibly want to do that. You know, if you couldn't vote unless you were a property owner back then. But if you could vote and you were a highfalutin, you know, for whatever the lack of the word is I'm trying to say, it was your duty to go and give some back if you were a successful individual. And that's what it was, and that's what it was built on. Now, man, these power-hungry people and like this whole tax plan that's coming in, that is just the most ridiculous shit. And you've got this senator, I haven't heard a lot about it, that the people that, like all his donors said, if you don't get it passed, don't call me back. That's disturbing. That means, well, don't vote for it, motherfucker. It's time for you to get out of there. Fall on the fucking spear. You know, this shit's got to end sometime. One of the jokes I've been saying, like I said, I live in southeastern Utah, a little town called Moab. It's a town of about 5,000. We do get about 3.5 million visitors to Arches a year, Arches and Canyonlands, but it is a wide open, completely wild area. If you want to see something cool, go to Google Maps and just type in Moab, Utah. It's the northern part of the Colorado Plateau. The Grand Canyon is the southern part of the Colorado Plateau. But one of the big jokes I've been saying is, makes me want to just move out to the desert somewhere where nobody else is living, which is basically what I've done. So I'm already there. And I already got a couple canyons picked out. I'm not going to lie. I'm going up with a buddy to the mountains. It wasn't my ammunition, but we went up to bury some of his ammunition that I know where it's in the mountains because he just moved the hell down to Texas. So I know where a bunch of bullets are in the mountains. If it does, I'll go down. I think I'll be all right.
Yeah. Just find the biggest fucking dinosaur footprint to fucking crawl into.
Yeah. Oh, that's, you know, we got plenty of dinosaur. They actually just found a new dinosaur a couple of weeks ago north of Moab. Yeah, we're famous for
a new one.
Yep, a new. They discover shit like that all the time, dude.
Crazy,
let's put it this way. My buddy who owns he had been my hiking partner for a number of years out here, and he just went and got the permits and the insurance for us to start guiding people professionally. And he's all into the paleontology side of it. Like his mom she did something in those sciences, and he's like a little kid when it comes to dinosaur footprints. I've seen so many dinosaur fossils out in the wilderness now, not in museums, but dinosaur footprints and fossils. I'm like, oh yeah, whatever. It's just become so ho-hum to me.
Wow. That's crazy.
No big deal at all. And they're everywhere out here, man. Periot Mesa, which is just a big mesa right beside my house and right beside Castleton Tower. It's about 1,800 feet above the valley floor. I did a hike going to that. There's some set ropes. Got to do, you know, it's no Alex Honnold free climbing, but there's some free climbs of about 25, 30 feet in a couple places. And then another spot that you got to grab this cable. And we did it when there was still snow in the ground, and you sort of slide around and go this other way. Dude, it's crazy, crazy shit.
I love you catch me doing that shit.
Yeah, if you got a fear of heights, man, there's some places I could take you out here that you would dig. But yeah, you're probably not doing the Perriot Mesa.
Dude, I did a fucking 5K. It was the first time I ever did one. It was a walking one, right?
Mm-hmm.
I did no preparation for it, and I'm not in shape. Like, I'm not out of shape. Well, I am out of shape, but I'm not like, I don't know. My ankles were fucked after that, dude. I was like,
really?
One went, I don't know, I forget what the hell was wrong with it, but got swelled up. I had to wear a brace on it, and then as soon as that one kind of started healing, my other one happened too. I was like, what the fuck, man? Fuck these 5Ks.
Brother, that's bad though, dude. That's where your shit's at, getting atrophied. You got to get out there and move. I mean, you said you're in your 30s, dude. You got to get out there and move it some, because trust me, man, I'm in, I don't do any lifting or any of that. I do some yoga with the wife. All I do basically is cardio and climbing and all that. And that keeps me in good shape. But just where I'm at 43 years old, when they tell you that you're going to start stiffening up and you're going to lose like how limber you are, it comes quick, brother. And that's a good 5K ain't far, dude.
No, it's not.
I mean, it's not far at all. It's a lot if you're not used to it. And, you can train yourself to do anything. Like I told you, when I first started that hike, I did 12 miles the first day.
Yeah, you worked your way up.
Oh, yeah. Dude, I felt like I was going to die. I literally thought I was going to die. Like, I got to the campground, pitched my tent and shit, and was just in so much pain. Like, what am I getting myself into? The next day was even harder. I did like 8 miles, and keep in mind, this is all day long. Like, I wake up about sunrise, eat my breakfast, start hiking.
Yeah, and then it gets dark.
Take rest stops.
When it starts to get dark, I guess that's when you start setting up.
Oh, no, I generally, a couple hours before. I would always, if I'd see a good place, didn't want to pass up, I would go in there. And, I had my iPhone, and I'd use that to go across the country and find good places to camp and set up my hammock the whole time. But, excuse me. But, yeah, so a couple hours before the sun went down, because I'd want to go somewhere and get some food if I didn't have any, or if I knew I was going into a really remote spot, I'd have food and I'd cook, and I'd always want to read. And, and a lot of times if I was going to a place and I knew I was about to go and it was going to be really remote, I would always want to stop by some place, steal some Wi-Fi, charge my phone up, that sort of thing. So, you plan it a little bit differently. And it took a while. Like, I thought I was in okay shape, but I was in terrible shape back then, dude. I had a big belly. I weighed I'm about 200 pounds now. I probably weighed about 235, 240. Yeah. And it was all in the gut. Yeah, I'm a pretty stocky guy. It's just my natural build. Yeah. But no, I've gotten pretty lean now, and it was like another, another 30 or 40 pounds of just pure fat shit I didn't need on me or want on me, not even supposed to be on me. Yeah.
How old were you when you took that hike?
See, that was 6.5 years ago, 43 now. So late 30s, 37, something like that. That's one of the things, man. I do a lot of writing. I'm actually got a couple things I'm working on now. Probably going to be published next year. No novel or anything like that. I am working on something like that, but I'm still a good ways out of that. But I didn't really keep up with dates, and now that I'm 6.5 years gone, I don't remember the fucking dates and how old I was or any of that shit.
Yeah, shit gets hard, man. Especially as you get older, you gotta take notes.
Yeah, maybe it gets hard, but I didn't even really try. I guess I just assumed I would always remember that shit. I don't have the problem anymore because of cell phones, but I was the guy back in the day that I would write somebody's number down real quick, and I'd never write their name on it because I'm never going to forget this. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I always fucking forget that shit. Dude, I've probably taken out a couple trees myself in paper of just writing down numbers I never remembered again. So, yeah, the memory gets you. So.
Well, dude, it's been a fucking pleasure, man. I think it's almost an hour and a half now.
Oh, damn, I thought it was going to go 30, 45 minutes.
Yeah, oh well. It's cool with me, man.
Well, very cool, man. Maybe do it some other time. And like I said, I'll be starting mine before too long. Didn't really get the whole story, but I liked how the conversation went and just talked about what's going on. So,
Oh, definitely.
very good, man.
I would
Thanks for
definitely
having
love
me,
to
dude.
have you back on, dude. Especially now that we know each other a little bit better. It's
Well,
weird.
yeah,
The whole
absolutely. Now I do feel like I know you a bit. So very cool. And man, keep up the good work, dude. Loving your work on Instagram and on Joey's page and everything else, dude. I'm a big fan, so I really appreciate you bringing me on.
Thank you very much, man. It's a pleasure. And where exactly? I know your High and Mighty Hikes on YouTube and Periscope. Is it this? It's High and Mighty Hikes on
Yep.
Instagram too, right? And Twitter.
Yeah, I think Periscope. Yeah, it's High and Mighty Hikes across. And then my website is highandmightyhikes.com. That's got links to everything and what I'm doing. Got a blog going. Early days of that. Got a lot more stuff coming out. I just got to the part of my year that is, I still sling drinks and wait tables for 40 hours a week. And then I do my hiking as well. So getting in all my other personal hikes, all my administrative stuff for the marketing of my own personal stuff is just getting started because the season's dying down here now.
Yeah.
But yeah, highandmightyhikes.com that'll give links to everything. And anybody gives me a follow, man, I've been hovering around 900. Instagram's a funny thing. I feel like people get cycled through. I've had between like 800 and 900 or so people for, I guess I've been on Instagram. I guess we're coming up on about a year. So I got like 700 really quick and then it stalled at 7. I've been stalled at about 900 for a while.
Yeah,
So
shit's
weird,
a weird machine,
stuff.
dude. It is really weird. I can say this because it's true. The only reason that I have any followers really is because of Rogan and Diaz. They repost shit, and then now I run Joey's page, but that's the only reason, man. It's a weird fucking thing.
That's funny. I remember because I saw your shit, and it was just one of those posters like, oh, man, that's fucking cool, and immediately followed you. I think I followed something at one time like 2,500 people on Instagram where just anything I thought was cool, I'd click on and follow it,
Yeah.
But when we first started talking, I think you were right about 1,000, and I saw today you're at 7,000 or 8,000 or something like that, right? So it's up there.
Yeah. It's crazy, dude. The more shit that I do and the cooler that I get with Joey and stuff and Rogan now, like it's surreal, man. Just to get a fucking Instagram direct message from Joe Rogan, like, hey man, I need a poster for this, or I need a poster for that, or whatever. I'm like, I'm down.
Yeah,
let me get on it.
Super cool.
Well,
tell Joe, he said Moab a couple times. I live in the place that chick that just did the 240 that Cameron Haynes did that he had on the show.
Yeah, listen.
That's
to that
where
one.
I live. It's where they had that race. So tell Rogan if he wants a good guide for the Moab area.
Oh fucking A, I will do, man. For sure.
Yeah, well, I'm sure when you're talking to Rogan, you're not going to be thinking about me, and that's all good.
Well,
man.
No, because it's weird. It's like you got to have something in common, like when besides comedy and like all this crap. So I'm sure that would definitely come up if I ever actually had a conversation with him.
Oh, sure.
I gotta get the fuck out
man.
there, dude. This East Coast shit kind of sucks over here, but working on it, slowly working on it.
I mean, I'm the guy that you'll never see me in LA. That's just not going to happen. I might go to visit, but I mean, Joey Diaz could call me up on the phone and say, "Hey, dog, come live in my car or something." You know what I mean? And I would come and I'd be there for about 2 days, long enough to hang out with him for a minute and be like, "Dude, you got to come out here, brother."
Yeah, fuck.
Because I'm not going to be the guy to move to LA. But yeah, dude, the West is the best, man. I hate to say it like that. I mean, I love where I'm from, and I love a lot of places on the East Coast, but dude, man, the world's going to shit anyway, and we all know that. You might as well get out here west and start enjoying yourself.
Exactly, dude. Trying to do it, man. Just keep up the day job work and do all the other shit, just like you're doing, You got that fucking slinging drinks.
Oh, yeah. Well, you got to do what you got to do.
I'm slinging paperwork.
Yeah. Oh, and I've done that too, man. That's just something, man, I've got to move. I'm not one of those guys. I was never the good guy at the office. I was the grumbly guy. They might have been concerned was going to come in and just fuck all you guys. One day.
Fuck you. You're cool. I'm out.
You're cool. I'm out.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I did to Florida, man. But I always thought I'd be going back east just once I got out here. And of course, after I met my wife and all that stuff, I was going to be out here. But yeah, man, the West is it.
The West
So
is
that's
the
for
best,
sure.
as Jim Morrison said so famously.
Oh, yeah. Yep. He also said, I just want to get my kicks in before the whole shit house hits the fan.
You know that's right.
Yep. That's fellow Floridian there.
Man,
Well, very cool, man.
All right, dude. Thank you very much. I'll probably be editing this tonight and hopefully get it out tomorrow morning. So I'll tag
man.
you on Instagram and Twitter when I share it.
Cool, man. Sounds good. Let's do it again sometime.
Fuck yeah, dude. For sure.
All right, Mike.
All right,
You
have a
take
good
care,
night, brother. You too. Be
All right,
safe
you too.
out there, man.
Bye-bye. Oh, always, man. You know it.
All right. Peace.
All right. Later on.